Let's talk about turning your passion into a successful online business with digital marketing. And today we're talking with someone who did just that. My guest is Holly Darcy. She is passionate about fitness and nutrition and growing her online business. She has said that fitness and nutrition has made her a better wife, a better mother and daughter, and she wants to share that with others.
There are just certain things that I am so passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will just keep talking to anybody who wants to listen,
Well, I say that too. If you feel like a broken record, you feel like you sound like a broken record, you're doing it right. So let's talk about how showing up and talking about your passion can help you grow your business online. And let's hear Holly's take on how digital marketing helps her do more of what she loves. Hi, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. So how are you?
I'm doing good. This has been feels like a very quiet week, a slower week than I've had, up to this point in the month. So a
Yeah.
lot of travel, a lot of jet lag, and then keeping up with everything else. None of my workload has changed at all. So
Yeah.
like
So
this
you
feels
you
pretty good.
you just got back from where were you this time?
I was in right outside of Seattle. I was in Washington State, and then
Okay.
before then we were in California. So
Yeah.
it's
That
been a
is
lot.
so cool because you did. So what is it exactly? It's obviously like the bodybuilding kind of competition, but I don't know the exact names for them and what you were involved in. So
Yeah.
tell me all about it. Like it's totally outside of my, like I have no knowledge of this. So I'm curious.
And you know what? It's all new to me too. So
Yeah.
basically I competed in two bodybuilding competitions and competed in two different categories within that event.
Yeah.
Um, but I did one bodybuilding competition on October 1st, and then I did another bodybuilding competition, same format and same kind of thing, just different
Mhm.
show promoters.
Yeah.
And that one was on October 15th. And yeah, it was super
That is so
fun.
cool. And I know you got first place at the first one, your first competition, and you get first place. Like that is so cool.
I did. I
Yeah.
got first place at the first one, which was a smaller show, but I was really proud about that, and I felt like I really, had to work hard for that. And then I got
Yeah.
second place at the second one, but it was a bigger show and lots of different, experience levels. And you can't always control who shows up to these events, but
Yeah.
I felt again like I had a very competitive and super fun experience. So
That is
yeah,
so
I've
cool.
totally got the bug. I'm totally sold. Super fun, and not
Yeah.
just for the physical side of it, but the mental rewards of it as well have been
Yeah.
transformative for
Well, and
me.
it's probably cool to meet other people that are into that too. Cause you don't just like meet a bodybuilder every day, especially a female
It's
bodybuilder.
a very niche thing.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to hear the stories of these other women who were moms and who, have been training for a long time. Anybody that goes, gets on stage, I think they have a story to tell. And it was just cool to
Yeah.
connect with them and, meet some other people who have similar interests to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like a smooth segue because I want to talk about your story, how you found this passion for fitness and nutrition and now lifting and just how you turned it into a successful business all online pretty much. So I guess just tell us like how did you even get into it in the first place?
Totally got into coaching on accident. So I got
Yeah.
into fitness. Really, it was as I was coming into my like young adulthood. I grew up very unathletic. I was much more academic. I was quite shy when I was younger and when I was a child. And I was not good at like in my school, like the
Oh
fitness
yeah.
tests that we would have to do. And PE was never my favorite. I was never
Yeah,
much,
gym class, I was like, do I have to do that?
yeah, it just was not my thing at all. My brothers
Yeah.
were much more athletic than I was. Um, but I kind of, got to the point where I was finishing up college, and I was training to become a teacher, an elementary school teacher, which I did teach elementary school for a couple of years.
Mhm.
And I started to just become more interested in nutrition first. I at the time started with wanting to lose some weight, and kind of started out just doing it in an unhealthy way. But I quickly learned that there was a healthier way to do that, and not just to lose weight, but if I was eating well and eating right and fueling my body with nutritious food, that I felt better and I felt more
Mm.
confident and I felt like I had more energy. Um, and then I quickly got into exercise, and I started to figure out what types of exercise that I really enjoyed, um, and fell in love with lifting weights. And I really started to develop that around this time. It was actually right before I became pregnant with my first child, my first daughter. And
Yeah.
I just kept up with it. I kept up with it. I kept up with my workouts, and I kept learning. So it's been a journey. That was back in, I first started lifting weights probably around 2010. So over 10 years ago, over a decade ago. But it's been a journey. That's been an,
Yeah.
evolving process that I've, you know, had all kinds of different lessons from.
Well, and
Um,
I know I've seen videos of you lifting, like, wow, you're like 9 months pregnant and you're like lifting.
yes,
I'm like, how is she doing this? And
yes.
then when the baby's born, you're holding your daughter and you're doing like pull-ups. And I'm like,
Huh? Yep.
she's like Wonder Woman over here.
Well,
So cool.
becoming a mom has made me feel like Wonder Woman, and it's weird because lifting weights has like transformed the way my relationship with food and my body image and everything. But then becoming a mom has only, I think, enhanced that. So I'm so grateful. But
Yeah.
so yeah, as far as like coaching, I got into it kind of accidentally. I was teaching elementary school, and then took a little break when I had my first daughter, and was going to a gym. And the owner of the gym kind of just, I had started to become more interested, and had taken just for my own interest, had gained some credentials and some education, to learn more about what I was doing. And it kind of just so happened that the owner of the gym said, hey, like, would you want to maybe coach a class here, a group class once or twice a week? And that quickly led from once or twice a week to multiple times a week, to eventually me managing that gym, and then eventually to me starting my own business. And then
Yeah. So that's
eventually
where
to
you got the bug.
yeah, yep. So it was just totally happenstance. And I still view myself very much as a teacher, even though I'm not, teaching elementary school children.
Oh, yeah. Because you're still teaching people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
teaching people, teaching, things that I'm really, really passionate about. And of course, teaching adults.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you jumped into coaching like at the gym and everything. So you did start doing it in person first.
Yep. I started out in person, just
Yeah.
a couple of classes, a couple of hours a week. And, now it is, at this point, I am completely online working full time, which is just crazy.
That is so cool.
I never thought I would be here. Like when I was,
Yeah.
I could have never dreamed I would be in this position. So
It's amazing. It's amazing because I feel like no matter what you're passionate about or what you want to do, you can turn it into something online
I
and
think,
make it a
yeah.
business. Like
Mhm.
it's so cool. Like we're so lucky just to have all of that at our fingertips.
I think we can too. And I think that it's just become a lot more normal. I remember when I first
Yeah.
started out, because I started my LLC in 2015 and
Yeah.
really started to pivot a lot more online in 2018.
Mm.
Um, and I remember like it being sort of like when I would explain it to my parents or friends, they'd be like, wait, you like are a personal trainer online? How does that work? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But now it's become a lot more commonplace, and people are starting to understand. I still have some questions sometimes, like, okay, how does this work? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, super cool. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is cool. Now I know you are married to a military guy. So, and what is your husband's name, if you don't mind saying? I don't even know if I know his
It's
name.
okay. Yeah. My husband's name is Chase, and
Yes, I
he's in
know
the
that
Air
now. Okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
slipped my mind. Yeah. So, how long have you guys been on the move? I know you've been quite a few different places now, including Japan, which is so cool. I want to talk more about
Mhm.
that. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Like, when did you guys start traveling?
So we've been married for over 10 years, and then he's
Oh,
been in the Air Force for about 14 years. So we met when he was a couple of years into his military career. Actually, we also met online. And
oh, that's cool.
we've been from New Mexico. We've spent some time in Alabama, Arkansas, Japan, Missouri, and Hawaii. And I think that's everywhere. And then we've got
Wow.
family all spread out too. So we do quite a bit of traveling. We move. Our last move was only a 10-month assignment, if you can imagine that. But we
Mm,
typically move every 2 to 3 years. And
okay.
overall, it's a really fun and rewarding lifestyle. Overall,
Yeah.
there are definitely some challenges, but overall, I'm very grateful for our military life and being able to experience so many different places and being able to really have friends all over the world.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's
So
really cool. That
yeah,
is really cool. Well, and the fact too, you don't have to worry now that your business is online. You don't have to worry because I can't imagine trying to do something. Well, like you said before, like even with teaching and all of that, having to constantly find a new job in the new area and all that, where it's like now you can almost feel settled in your job and your career, even while you're just moving all over the world,
yep.
which is
It's
so
with
cool.
with teaching, it's like, I had to start over and figure out state licensure, or if we were overseas,
Mm.
figure out what that would look like. I mean, I can tell you in the past 3 years, we're now at our third duty assignment in the past 3 years. And I have not taken any leave time because of a move.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and so, I've taken some holiday leave here and there, but I've been able to literally work when we are in military lodging, when we're in between, it's amazing. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
made it so that with my online business, I'm able to pretty much pick up and pick up right where I left off with work at any given point. I don't really
Yeah.
have any interruption to like services or anything like that, which is fantastic. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah,
And
because then
that's
not only
not
that, even your income as well. You don't have to worry about that, changing when you have to move, right?
predictable and
That's all.
consistent
Yeah.
with one less thing to worry about. And that's not typical for military spouses. A lot of times
Mhm.
military spouses are um they're much more qualified, they're overqualified and often underemployed. And
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, we
it's
need to we need to find all of these military spouses and be like, you could start a business online.
yes, yes. And
Right?
I know some who do, and I think
Yeah.
I'm always encouraging when somebody tells me about I mean a military spouse who has a passion. I'm like, how can we do that and get you like,
Yeah.
doing that? First of all, building it into a business, I think you should, if you can do it, sets your soul on fire. And then if you can pivot online, even in some capacity, even if it's a hybrid model or something, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of opportunity there for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. And two, I like how you said too about meeting people all over the world through your travels. I feel like even online I mean, that's how we met. We found each other online through Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just so cool, like through your business, through networking online, marketing your business online, all of that, you also just can meet so many people in that way too and build your community. Like I talk to people, this is not even an exaggeration. I think every single day I talk to somebody on all seven, well, not Antarctica, so maybe all six continents, I swear. I talk to someone from every corner of the world almost every day.
I believe it. I currently have clients in 7 different time zones.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But then also if you need to call, if you guys gotta hop on a call, it's like, okay, what time zone are
Yes.
you in? I know we're like that. Like we're 6 hours apart because I'm on the East
Yes.
Coast. You're as far away as you can get without being outside the country. And so yeah, we're like 6 hours apart. So it's always like, and I'm fine with that. Like, and it works because you're
Yep.
an early bird and
Yes.
I'm a night
Yes.
owl. And so it's perfect. If it was the other way around, I don't know how we would talk.
My clients in Europe, clients or somebody who's, maybe interested in coaching, the ones in Europe, those tend to be the trickiest right now as far as
Oh
like
yeah.
scheduling calls, but we always make it work. And I always, will make myself available and be flexible if I need to. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
that could be like a 12-hour difference.
yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because I had a client in Australia and it was like that. I think we had like it depended on the time change
Yep.
because it was weird because the time change because they would we would turn the clocks opposite because they're in winter and when we're in summer and vice versa.
Mhm,
So like
mhm.
at one point we were like 13 and a half hours apart and then it like jumped to like 15 hours apart. And I was like, wait, what happened?
So not
I'm like,
only is it a completely different time of day, but it's completely different season.
yes, yeah. It's so funny.
Crazy.
It
Yeah,
is. It's really cool. It's
it
really
is.
cool.
It is. Yeah.
But so what I guess what kind of impact did you see when you really started using like just social media? What did you struggle with or what did you find easy with just trying to build awareness online? I know social media is a big part of that.
Yeah, social media has been, I've always enjoyed using social media. And when I first started using it, it was totally for personal use, of course,
Yeah.
like most people. And then it got to where I was really just sharing a lot about my journey, sharing about my motherhood journey, sharing about our military, my military lifestyle, just different things I'm interested in. And then as I became more and more passionate about fitness and of
Mhm.
course coaching, it started to I was just continuing to share my story,
Yeah.
and so I've always tried to maintain that as my business has grown. I've always just tried to show up really just kind of like what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Just share about my story. And I like being able to share. And I believe that the people that I connect with most are the ones who are interested in knowing, how I can support them as a coach, but also about how I'm navigating just everyday life as a mom,
Yeah.
as a military spouse, working, mom and military spouse. They like to
Mhm.
know that they're being supported with the systems that I have in place from a coaching standpoint, but also, you know, how that looks, how that could look in their lives, with their own children,
Yeah.
their own just different, everyday lifestyle.
Well,
Um,
and simply just relating to you, like if they can see themselves in you, like, oh, I'm also a mother or I'm also a military spouse and she can do it,
yeah, I
right?
hope
Then I
so.
can do it. So,
Yeah,
it's like sharing that, it's starting to sound cliche because we say it all the time, but it's like the best way to stand out online is to be you and to be authentic. And like you said, sharing your story. And it just seems like you just knew that from the get-go, whether you knew it from a marketing standpoint or you know what I mean? Whether you knew that from a marketing standpoint and made a conscious decision to do that, or you were just showing up being yourself, like it worked.
I definitely didn't do it from a marketing standpoint. That's why I work with you, Lindsay. I'm not a marketing professional or expert. I've certainly gotten a lot, smarter on it over the years, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that that's just I'm a little bit more. I can be very outgoing and very enthusiastic and talkative, obviously,
Yeah.
but I am still sort of like I was as a little girl, more shy, a little more introverted, and so I think because of that, it just tends to come across a little bit more. It's a little bit more
Mm.
natural for me just to be myself. Um,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
not really try to be anybody else. It's quite exhausting to try to do what everybody else wants me to do or try to show up in a different way. So
Yeah.
that maybe that's just sort of my personality. I just try to be myself. And I figure also it's not going to be a great fit if I'm connecting with someone and they're seeing a version of me that really isn't true to myself. It's just not
Oh
going to be
yeah.
in good alignment or a good fit for either of us.
Yeah. And are you
So
really going to enjoy the whole process? Because you work, long term with your clients. So,
exactly.
are you going to enjoy it if you're just not vibing with them? Because it
Totally.
is true. We work with those we know. Well, again, all these sound so cliche because I say them all the time, but we work with people we know, like, and trust, and it's very true. Um, if I'm looking for anything, any kind of service, and I find two people who are equally qualified, equally, you know, are offering what I need, but I just feel connected in some way to one over the other. I'm going to immediately pick the one I feel connected to, whether that's, we just get along or I can see myself in that person or whatever it is. You're going to go with that person.
I think that, we as humans, like we thrive on connection, even in a
Hmm.
business standpoint.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so when we feel at ease around, somebody else's, demeanor, it helps us,
Mhm.
I think it can help us, that trust factor is really huge. And just like when you make a purchase, that's an investment of your time, of your money,
Yeah.
of your energy, and vice versa. And so yeah, I think it makes sense. It
Yeah.
totally makes sense. We're able to connect with the people that we're working with.
Hmm.
Um, it's going to be a better fit for sure.
Yeah. And I think especially with what you do, like people have to be really motivated and feel supported to
Yeah,
do and not judged. I think that's a huge one. Like especially with
absolutely.
what you do, like not to be judged and like you almost have to be a safe space for them. Would you
100.
say?
Yes. I
Yeah.
want people, and I believe that my clients know, or at least most of them do, that they can show up as they are. They can show
Yeah.
up as they are, whether they had a great week or a week that was quite a challenge. They can
Hmm.
show up as they are, and we're gonna work through it. We're gonna celebrate the wins, and we're gonna try to find a good game plan for them to keep making progress moving forward. But yeah, if they don't feel like they can come to me about
Yeah.
the ups and the downs, then they're gonna have a difficult time. So yeah, I really pride myself on being someone that is, does hold that safe space for them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and
thank
that's
you
what
for
I
saying.
like about, yeah. Well, that's what I like about because, you show up in stories and stuff a lot, and you're so good at showing up online for your business. Like it is, yeah, you're on there every day. I love it. It's real. Like you'll be up at you're like, I'm up at 4 a.m. and I didn't get much sleep, but here's what's going to happen. And you're just like, you're so real and open. And I'm like, girl, 4 a.m. If I get up at 4 a.m., it's by accident.
I need to wake up and see some videos from you at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just working, burning the midnight oil,
I
having
need
a
to
midnight
start. I actually, it's so funny, me, the one being in marketing, I could actually take a
snack.
lesson from you in showing up on stories more.
And I do too. I think I really enjoy social media, and part of it
Yeah.
might be because I move around so often, and so I'm used
Yeah.
to having to like connect with people quickly or make friends easily.
Yeah.
And so it might be that I've just been on social media for a long time, and I've always really enjoyed it. I don't feel overwhelmed by it.
Hmm.
And again, I think it just kind of goes back to like, this is who I am. So if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh. No, but it's so good. It really
Yeah.
is. Now, we talked about like the power of social media and everything, but I also want to talk about having everything else work together, right? Because you have social media, right? You have social media and that's great. And I mean, social media is so, so important.
From a business standpoint, it is so
Yeah,
important. Yeah.
so important, so important. I mean, it's one of the first places people look. I know it's one of the first places I look. As soon as I find a website, I'm like, okay, I see the website, but I scroll to the bottom and I'm like, where's their socials? I want
Yep.
to see how they're
Yep.
showing up on social media.
And it's getting to where social media is like a Google, it is
Oh,
like
yeah.
a search engine more and more.
Hmm.
I found my makeup artists, both of my makeup artists for my last two events this month, literally through
On social
Instagram.
media.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic.
Yeah. I saw the pictures. Like you looked gorgeous.
Ah, thanks.
Yeah. I
So
mean, you're a pretty lady to start, but
fun.
like seriously, the makeup like was really well done.
It was so fun to get dolled up like that. That's so out of my norm. So it was just like I felt like a fitness princess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I love that. Yeah, but it all works together, like we said, because even with you showing up on social media, I know you're also doing email marketing. You want to get people onto an email list. You want to get people to your website to purchase your service or sign up for your service. And as much as I love social media and I always push social media, I always make sure you're building an email list because I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but people get locked out of their accounts. They build this huge following and then they get locked out. It happened to me. I got locked out because apparently I was engaging too quickly. So I was commenting too fast and I thought I was a robot. And I was like, dang, I'm good.
Wow.
Like I would open a new tab and I would go look at their profile and then comment on their latest post. Well, apparently I did that, was doing it too fast. And all of a sudden it just like locked me out. And I was like, what happened?
Oh my gosh. Was
Yeah.
that
So it's just scary because if you build your entire, business on social media alone and you're not driving people anywhere else, then it's like, crap, what do you do when you
or
can
even
no longer
just
talk to your
one
audience?
specific, or even just one specific social media outlet. So if you're only
Yeah.
on Instagram or if you're only on Facebook, I think being able to establish that presence all over is
Oh,
going to be,
yeah.
because also social media, like technology, it's constantly changing
Mm-hmm.
too. And so, we've seen, right, like the MySpace era and then Facebook and then
MySpace.
Instagram and
Yeah.
TikTok and all of this. So, I
Yeah.
think being able to have some presence and establish that authority in multiple spaces is valuable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you meet different people too, because I know, like you said, like it shifts and it changes popularity of one platform to another. And when I, like when I got locked out of my Instagram, I just went over to LinkedIn and I was like, hey, everybody, like, I'll come talk over here for a little bit.
Perfect.
But you meet different people. Like, um, even when clients reach out to me, I always ask like, hey, where did you find me? And I have people reaching out to me from it's a lot of social media. It really is a lot of social media. But I had one person find me through a Google search. I had one person find me through LinkedIn, through Instagram. Someone found me on TikTok. So it's like, I'm not saying you have to be everywhere, but at least be in a couple places.
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be everywhere, but being able to
Right.
have some presence in multiple, don't put all of your eggs into one basket. I think when it
Yes.
comes to running a business online, don't completely, place all of your stock just in one specific outlet only.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, where do you see most of your, I'm guessing social media, but where do you see most of your clients come from?
Most of my engagement and like new connections, well, largely referrals for sure.
Nice.
Most of my new clients come from referrals for sure, the majority. From
Yeah.
there, I also have like make quite a few new connections, kind of expanding my reach through
Mhm.
Instagram specifically.
Yeah.
Um, I tend to also have, once they're on my email list, I definitely have the most like connection with my email list. They're sort of like, I think of my email list as sort of like my secret club
Yeah.
where I'm able to kind of whisper in their ear and really talk with them closely and have closer conversations with them than I
Mhm.
might be able to on Instagram. So I kind of think of it as like big picture is I'm definitely connecting with the most new people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, ideally trying to get them into my secret club so I can talk to them and share more about my story and services and how I can maybe serve them through my email list.
Yeah. When you have a really good open rate too.
Yeah,
You
I
have
think
a
so.
really good open rate, but like the average open rate is so, I was shocked at how low it was. It's like 16%
Mm.
is the average open rate. And I know you have at least like, I think 50 or 60%
Yeah,
or
usually over
sometimes higher.
60%, sometimes closer to
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah. So that's a really good, that's when you know you're doing something right and people are actually interested in what you're doing. Like you said, it's like your own secret club.
I try to, think in my head quality over quantity. I do not, I mean, currently my email marketing is only bi-weekly, so every other week.
Hmm.
But I try to be somebody who, like, when I talk, I hope, people are listening. I
Yeah.
try not to talk a whole lot, in that sense. But, if, even if I'm only talking to them every other week, well, then if they're
Mhm.
opening that email and hearing from me, then that's great.
Yeah. Well, I
Love it.
think every other week is great. I think
Great.
every other week is great. Even once a week, I think's good. I think if you get more than that, I think it scares people away. I mean, I know I do. I signed up for a couple email lists and I was getting like 3 or 4 a week. And I was like, this is too much.
And I'm
Like,
an unsubscriber. Like I
yep.
like one of my side hobbies is unsubscribing from emails that I don't want to read. So
Yeah.
I will unsubscribe if someone's, repeatedly sending me messages because it's just
Yeah.
clogging up my inbox and that's taking time away from me. So
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'd rather send like you send two a month.
sure.
And then the people who are really interested are going to be excited to see that email come through. And if every email's valuable, they're going to be clicking on it to see what's in it. And they have time if it's only once
Yeah.
every other week, they have time to go in and read it and take
Yes.
action on it or whatever. If you're doing that 3 times a week, no one
Yeah.
has time to do that.
And I try to provide value in there. I'm
Yeah.
pretty much every single time I am including a recipe from my
Hmm.
kitchen that I love cooking. I try to include really actionable, practical, like mindset tips or mindset, concepts. Sometimes really practical ideas around, like workout nutrition or, for example, like how long to rest in between a set, when you're
Yeah.
lifting or something like that. Just really practical advice. And I will get some people they will reply to my newsletter right away, or I'll get sometimes 3 or 4 or a week later after it's been sent out, and they'll send a reply or just like, hey, I really enjoyed this, or they'll, kind of send me a follow-up question or something like that. And it's
Yeah,
cool
that's
because it means
awesome.
that was sitting in their inbox and they, even a couple of
Yeah.
days later, they opened it and were like, oh, this really resonates with me. And, then we can have a follow-up conversation, which is so
Yeah.
cool.
That's too what I like about email is, if we're going to say like email versus social media, it's like once you post something, especially if it's just like a single post or something like that, it's there for maybe a couple days and then it's gone,
Yep.
So then, with email, like you said, it could be sitting in their inbox for weeks and then they come across it and it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they might, save it in their inbox, maybe like, keep it in
Store
there
it
like I do
or yeah.
sometimes if there's something I want to come back to, just hold it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
know I saved one of yours because I get your emails.
Thank you.
I saved one of yours. I haven't tried it yet. I need to. I think I have the stuff now.
Was it the
I
pumpkin
believe it was
chili?
the apple
Oh,
cinnamon. I
crepes?
got it. Yes.
Ooh,
I
they're
gotta try
so
them.
good. I
I
might
love
have to
crepes.
make those this weekend.
And I have everything to make them now. So now I'm like, oh, that might be a weekend thing.
Yes. Let me know. Let me know once you try them. And you can
Yeah,
get
it
really,
looks so
all
good.
kinds of, I've done them with peaches. You can,
Oh,
add some
nice.
maybe whipped cream or something on top. Make it a
Nice.
dessert.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah, I just actually went to the apple orchard. It's like, stereotypical fall thing to do,
Yeah.
right? You go and pick
Yes.
apples, but I love it. And I went and I picked apples with my parents and my niece, and I got a lot of apples. I always think of you. I always think of you when like I'm struggling to lift something. And I'm like,
Like if only
I
Holly
bet
was
Holly,
here.
I bet Holly would have no problem with this. But I was carrying 2 huge bags of apples, and I was like, I can't put any more in here because I can't lift it.
That's great.
So yeah.
I'm actually going to be making some apple pies this weekend, and I'm
Ooh,
going to be
nice.
definitely cutting a lot of apples.
Yeah. So good. So good.
It's that time of year. 'Tis the season.
Oh, it's so good. Well, how is that? Like Hawaii weather is pretty consistent all year round, isn't it?
It's pretty consistent. It's sunny today, but I actually read something in the Hawaii news this morning that said that I think this next couple of months, this is kind of the rainy season typically, but that it's
Okay.
going to be a much rainier, chillier season than usual. Um,
Oh,
we
okay.
had a couple of days last year where we had some pretty big thunderstorms. The last 2 or 3 days here, it's been quite cloudy and rainy all
Yeah.
day. So we'll see. It's pretty much beautiful at some point here every day. And
Yeah.
most days it's pretty, dreamy all day long, but it's been a little rainier than usual here. So I
Yeah.
kind of enjoy the change. It's nice to have a little
Yeah.
bit of change sometimes, but I do love the sunshine best.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know you're always showing pictures or, your stories and stuff. You're always showing like the sunrises, and I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful.
It's Hawaii. Is it
It's
starting to get
so
pretty
beautiful.
cold there?
Yeah, it's been like 50 to 60 every day. Now it got like oddly very cold over like just overnight. It went from like 70 to like 50. So I love it. I'm one of those weird people who love the like winter and the cold, and everyone's like, how do you like that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just do.
Uh,
But
I
yeah, so I
like it.
love
I
it.
like the change just for a couple of days, and then I quickly get tired of it. Like, send me to wherever the sunshine is. Send me to
Yeah,
Hawaii.
exactly. But yeah, it is nice though. We have all the colors, all the colors are changing now, and we're almost in peak leaf peeping season. So I'd have to definitely go driving somewhere and get
You
some
need to
more.
share some more pictures of that on your story.
Yes, I
Mm.
do.
I bet it's so beautiful with all the leaves changing and everything.
Oh, it
It's
is. It
yeah.
is. I just look outside and I'm like, it looks like a movie. Like
Yeah.
it
That's
does.
that's how I felt about Missouri when we were there I guess this time
Oh
uh
yeah.
about a year and a half ago. Or well, it would have been 2 years ago. Yeah, we definitely had the leaves changing, and then it started to get cold, and I felt like we had a true of, exposure to all four seasons. It was very
Oh yeah,
picturesque.
that's cool. I've never been there. I don't think I've ever been to a lot of the places you've lived.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. All
It's
over the
so
place.
cool. I definitely want to get to Hawaii. I definitely have to get out there
You do. You
for
really do.
sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Japan seems cool. I mean, there's so many places I want to go. Because how
Mhm.
long were you in Japan?
We were there for just under 3 years. And we were in
Wow.
Okinawa, which is like they call it the Hawaii of Japan. It's like a
Oh,
tropical
wow.
tropical island. But we got to spend a bunch of time in mainland Japan as well, which is its own totally different thing.
Oh, I
Japan,
bet.
Japan's incredible. We
Yeah.
may we may be going back there, so
Oh,
we'll see.
really? Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're probably up soon for a move, right?
Yeah, it's a touchy subject, but we'll
Oh,
see.
no. You're
Kind of
falling in
brace,
love with Hawaii, right?
yeah, that, and you just kind of like know, like bracing yourself for a military move and upheaving
Oh,
everything and the kids and everything. So we'll see. We
yeah.
should we should actually know very, very, very soon, kind of when and where. So I will keep
Yeah.
you posted.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, hey, at least the one constant is your business, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank goodness.
Right?
That and just, we try to keep it like, a nice, stable, like, happy home life, like wherever we go. So
Yeah, a
that's,
little family unit.
yes. I always say,
Yeah,
like, wherever, as long as we're together, we're at home. So,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
what's that thing? Home is where the heart is,
it's true.
right? It is very true. Yeah, yeah. So I think that thank you so much for talking to me, by the way, and sharing your story and telling me all about, I mean, of course, I know a lot about you, but just sharing how you start your business and finding your way online and everything. But I want to leave people too with if they're either thinking of starting a business or they're maybe in the beginnings of starting an online business, like, kind of like your story. I guess what are some things from your experience that you would say to either focus on or, what they can do to start getting their name and face and all of that out there?
Yeah. Okay, a couple things come to mind. So the first thing is just, like you mentioned, just be yourself. Like, don't
Yeah.
try to be anybody else. I think if you are just starting out now in 2022, there's gonna be some pressure to like try to be like, you'll see these other people who are just have these really big followings or whatever, and that doesn't necessarily mean they have a very successful business. So just because they
Yeah,
have a
that's a very
big
good point.
so
Yep.
we try not to compare too much and just focus on showing up as yourself and
Mhm.
showing up consistently. Whatever that means to you, it may not mean that you show up every day. But
Right.
maybe it does. Just maybe even if you're just like posting on your stories, just little things about what's going on in your day or what's
Hmm.
going on with the work that you do. And sharing in different ways because people are not dumb. And so when they're on
Right.
social media, if you're a business owner and you're trying to show up on social media and you're constantly just trying to sell them something, they're not going to be interested in that. And then the algorithm is not going to share what you're trying to
Yeah.
share. You know what I mean? So you're not
Yeah.
going to be getting in front of the people that you want to be getting in front of. And I just think just overall from a business success standpoint, but also just from an enjoyability and like fulfillment standpoint,
Yeah.
if you're trying to show up as somebody else, or if you're trying to um, do things in a certain way that just doesn't feel right to you, it's not going to be long lasting, so I
Yeah.
just say be yourself, be consistent. You're going to need to have systems in place. I think that's like with any kind of business. And then
Yeah.
I think over time, as you do grow, start to take inventory. I think when you're first starting out, you're going to be sort of everything. You're going to be your
Right.
own marketer. You're going to be your own bookkeeper. You're going to be your own, if you're a coach or whatever, you're going to be doing everything. But as you grow, start to be able to take a step back and become aware of the tasks and responsibilities in your business that you really enjoy and that are of highest value to you,
Mm-hmm.
and start to become aware of the tasks and responsibilities of your business that maybe you can possibly
Yeah.
um, outsource in some way, whether that's having another hiring somebody to help you or
Mm-hmm.
automating it or something like that. So
Yeah.
and that is not necessarily something that every new business owner can do at the very beginning, but as they
Right.
grow, starting to become, because that is going to allow you to do more of what you love, um,
Yes.
and just I think is going to be a longer, more sustainable business model for you, and more
Yeah.
fulfilling and rewarding in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, we are totally on the same page. Like everything,
Oh,
if
wow.
I were to answer that question, if I were to have answered my own question just now, that's exactly what I would have said.
That doesn't
I
surprise me
love it.
one bit, Lindsay. That's,
This
I
is why
think,
we get along.
yeah, from the first time we talked, we just clicked. So
Yes. But
yeah.
no, exactly. Everything you just said. Um, and I like what you said too about like in the beginning, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of stuff. I mean, you just have to, right? You don't have the income, the funds, all of that. So you're gonna have to do a lot yourself, and that's okay. And what I would say is if you're looking for people to learn from, so say you're following people who are giving advice on whatever it is, marketing, social media, growing a business, business coaches, whatever, be careful who you're listening to. There are a lot of amazing people out there, right? There are a lot of amazing people out there, but just do a little research, check their website, check their credentials, because while there's a lot of great free information out there, and I highly encourage everyone to follow certain people and learn from that, also just make sure you're not following the people that are like, you have to post every single day in order to have a successful business and all this stuff. It's just not true.
It's
It's just
just
not
like
true.
any other kind of investment or any other content you might consume. Be discerning, and
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
discerning, and be able to think critically. Um, and I think like almost with anything that's like in the ends of the extremes, or like do this, don't do this, very much
Yeah,
those are,
that's a good point too.
it's
Yeah.
probably like I don't know
Because
about that.
there's never a one size fits all for everyone. Even with what you do with coaching, there's certainly 100% not a one size fits all for that. And then same with what I do with marketing. There's
Yeah.
not a one size fits all for every business. Like it depends. There's so many factors involved in what type of strategy you create for
And
each
it
client.
evolves because like as you first, like the things that we were working on, like maybe when we first started working together or really prioritizing, have evolved over the time that we've been working together,
Right. Yeah.
and as certain systems or certain things kind of um become maybe more mature or more established, then you can work on other things or work on other things in different ways. And so yeah,
Yeah.
much like coaching, much like marketing, or really anything, be able to as things are dynamic and evolve, and so being able to grow with them as well too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's some really good advice. And like I said, it's so funny because as I'm listening to you, it's like it's exactly what I would have said.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, that's so perfect.
I'm still
But
going to leave the marketing to you.
yeah. Oh, well, no, you are actually like, you get it. You get that you have to show up for your business. And like you said, you were doing it from day one, probably without even knowing it.
Yes.
Right. And I think that just has to do with if you're passionate about something, you're going to show up for it,
Yes. You're going to
you
want to talk
know?
about it to anybody who will listen.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's just a big
I
thing.
sound like a broken record sometimes because there are just certain things that I am so passionate about.
Hmm.
So I will just keep talking to anybody who wants to listen,
Well, I
and
say that too. If you feel like a broken record, you feel like you sound like a broken record, you're doing it right. because that means you have a strong message that you want to get out there and you just keep repeating it, and you have to keep repeating it because not everyone's going to see it every single time you say it.
Not everybody's going to hear it in the way that they need to hear it the first time around. It's like sometimes we may be exposed to certain kinds of information or, a certain message, and we're not ready for that message, or we're not
Right.
ready. So I think, yeah, just keep sharing it in different ways, sharing it, like on social media, sharing it face to face,
Yeah.
sharing it in a graphic, sharing it, because at
Yeah.
some point that person who needs your services, or, whatever it is, they need that product or whatever it is that your business offers, um, they may not be ready for the first time around. And so as long as you have
Mm-hmm.
that strong, establish that authority and have that strong message, eventually you're going to be able to reach them if they need the support that
Yeah.
you offer.
Yeah. And that's why it's a long-term thing. Like it's a long-term game. It's not like you can just say it once and then wait for everyone to come knocking on your door. And
Right.
that's exactly what you just said. Like when someone they might know about you, but they might just not be ready yet. And they might not be ready because it just hasn't registered in a way that they think they need it, or that they have that problem to solve. Or it could just be that they know they want it and or need it,
Yep.
but they're just not in that position yet. Like if someone is
Totally.
first starting out in their business, they might want to work with someone who does marketing like me, but they just can't yet. Right.
Absolutely.
So they might watch, and then when they're ready, that could be 2 years from now. Right.
And also, with like showing up on social media, like there's so many free resources and free, like,
Hmm.
I'm not trying to have everybody be my client. I'm not the right
Right.
coach for everyone, but I can still serve so many people and influence, like make an impact, a positive impact for so many
Yeah.
people, even if they're never my one-on-one client, you
Right.
know. So like how cool is that? That that you're making an influence on other businesses and other
Yeah.
business owners, even if they may not directly work with you. It's just like you're making that really positive impact. And I think that's
I
something
think
that
that
people
is
don't always think about. That's really cool.
that is really cool. No, that is really cool because you're helping people. Even you might not even realize it, that
Oh,
who you're
very
helping. You're
much
probably
so.
helping so many people and don't even realize it. And that's okay. Like, I don't, like you just said, like, I'm happy with that too. I mean, of course, I want to do it for a business, so I need to get paid to some extent, right? So I can keep doing it. And I think that goes back to just being passionate about what you do.
I've
Yeah.
had people I've connected with on Instagram back in 2016, 2017,
Yeah.
that maybe wait a year, 3 years, 5 years, and we
Yeah.
keep in touch. We keep, I keep sharing and we stay in contact. And then 5 years down the road, they, decide that they would like to work with me and have, enter into a coaching relationship, you
Isn't
know.
that cool?
So
Isn't
it's
that cool? I just think that's so cool. Like you've been on top of their mind for that long. Like that's amazing.
it is
And then
amazing.
too, they might recommend you to someone else who is ready. Like
Absolutely.
there's just so many. Yeah. I think
So
that's so
cool.
cool. So
Yeah.
cool.
And that's not something that you can always do if you are only an in-person business owner. I think that
Right.
there's a lot more opportunity to make an even bigger impact and share your message on a much larger scale with social media,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and that's the thing, just real quick to piggyback on that. Like you said, if you're an in-person brick and mortar office, you only work, like whatever you do requires you to actually physically work with the person or together. Even so, like it's still, I think, so important to have that online presence because first off, people who are going to work with you in person are looking online anyway, right? They're
Yes.
going to do research online first anyway.
Yep.
Same thing. People could be watching you online, local, like they're local to you, and then could work with you in person.
Totally.
I mean, referrals, just all kinds of things. And like we just said, if you're passionate about it and you're still making an impact, even if you'll never work with those people one on one, like just knowing you're making that difference is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just icing on the cake.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point about what you said about like some businesses, they are in person, but having that online presence.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this and obviously giving some great advice on, just everything you've experienced and how to really take advantage of the online space and do what you love.
This has been super fun. I love talking business and,
Yes.
just think about my story. And I always love talking with you, Lindsay. So
Yeah,
thank you for the opportunity.
same. I love talking with you too. It's so fun. Thanks again to my guest, Holly, for sharing her story, sharing her passion, and sharing how digital marketing helps her do more of what she loves. I hope you found some helpful insights from this conversation and can apply them to your own business. For more information on where to find Holly online, I will have her information in the description of this podcast. And once again, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. For more small business marketing tips, subscribe to this podcast or find me online at bertamarketing.com. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for sticking around until the end. Here is a little podcast blooper. I'm going to pause for a second because did you hear that bell?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Okay. That's my dog.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
She rings a bell. I was like, when I first started this, I'll cut this part out. But did you go?
Did you get a new doggie?
Well, I got her about 2 years ago. Now she's eating food, but typically she sleeps when I do these. And right before I logged on, she got up and I was like, oh no.
It wasn't loud at all. I literally just felt, it sounded like there was something like.
Okay. I couldn't help because here it sounds really loud. This is she's right here.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you've seen her before.
That is so cute. What's her name?
Isabel.
She's so cute. Lindsay, I would not have guessed that that's what your dog would look like. Really? I would have thought you would have had a golden retriever.
Really? Maybe that's because my personality is like a golden retriever.
That is so funny. She's so cute.
Thanks. She has, if I don't have the ponytail in, her hair is just like in her face.
That's like my daughter, Juliet.
Yes. Oh my God. I love her little ponytail. It's always like.
Her hair is getting so long. It's like almost down at the bottom of her back. Like it's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just, she came out with so much hair. Like everybody, we gave birth to her in a Japanese birth center off base. And all the Japanese women, the doctors and everything were like, her hair is so long. And Genevieve was bald. Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. It's so funny.
That is funny. I was born with a lot of hair.
Yeah.
I have like black hair.
Yeah. And then it's so luscious. You have a gray head of hair.
Oh, thanks. It's getting gray now though. So.
Well, I can't tell from here.
Slowly. That's good.